What's up guys, my name's Chronic Yost here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 weapons in PvE right now. This is going to be based on the energy weapons, based on my opinion, based on this DPS chart that I made, as well as just the community opinion, and overall just kind of a top 5 that I thought you guys would enjoy. If you want to skip the preface, all the information based on how I measured these weapons, you just want to trust me, skip over to the top 5 by going to the time that's on the screen now. But if you want to know how I measured these things, why I did the things I did, and of course if you want to leave an angry comment down below, please listen to the preface, because, you know, I'm oftentimes going to answer those angry comments in the preface, and you're going to look stupid. And nobody would want you to look stupid for putting an angry comment more than me. So, I did a lot of things for this video. Primarily, the biggest thing I did was made a DPS chart for this video. I also changed it since I did last time. This DPS chart also has things like tractor cannon on it, if it can be voidable, and of course made with tractor cannon. However, with energy weapons, DPS is not the most important thing. And the other part of it is going to be based on my opinion. Some perks are more useful than just having Rampage and Kill Clip. Some of them are just more useful in many different scenarios. Some of them are more useful for the top 5 Kinetic video that I made last week. Hint, hint, watch, watch. And of course, if you did have a recommendation for a future top 5, let me know in the comments down below. Perhaps if this video gets like 1,000 likes, I'll do a midweek top 5 on next Wednesday. And finally, if that doesn't help you enough to like the video, puppies. More puppies. Man, I'm running out of ideas with this puppy thing. I need help. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into these top 5 weapons in PvE. Coming up at number 5 is going to be the exotic hand cannon known as the Sunshot. Now, this is a random exotic you can find just randomly through any exotic. Came with the base game, but was recently buffed with the Warmind update that gave exotic weapons more sparkle, more flare, and more damage. In this one, it gave the explosive rounds more AoE effect, bigger explosions, more damage. The Dragonfly on it also does bigger and more damage, and overall it's just a very effective weapon in PvE. I'm surprised more people don't use it, most likely because it is an exotic and it takes up that exotic slot. However, I would like to mention that it had one of the highest DPSs out of the entire list of 22 weapons that I tested, even though it has a small magazine or cylinder of 8, it has a long reload of 2.3 seconds. Honestly, if you can find a way to cut down on the reload, you'll find that this weapon does more DPS than any other weapon in the entire game. Coming up at number 4 is going to be the inaugural dress legendary pulse rifle. Pulse rifle. That's right, I said pulse rifle. This is a pulse rifle in the top 5 weapons for PvE. Now, pulse rifles are not very much a PvE standard right now. It is definitely not in the meta. They definitely need a buff, but this weapon actually did pretty well. It got in like the top 3 for damage. Now, obviously, this is because it has perks like Outlaw, cutting down on the reload speed, and Kill Clip, making the damage more intensive, having a large magazine of 39 and an RPM that's in the higher range of 390. It's not surprising that this weapon had a good DPS on it. Now, what is surprising is that this weapon, even though it is a pulse rifle, is still a very effective tool at killing enemies. Lots of adds that you kill will be able to be killed very, very quickly, reloaded, and getting your kill clip up, maybe damaging into the boss or more adds. It is definitely one of those weapons that kills lots and lots of adds and is very effective to use with either a very close range or a very long range weapon, making it very versatile in that energy slot. Coming up at number 3 on this top 5 is going to be the Cold Hard Trace Rifle. And this exotic trace rifle, again, found from any exotic engram, came out with the base game, and overall just does a ton of damage. It's one of those weapons that as the longer you keep on the target, the more damage it deals. It goes from things like 41 damage to 71 damage in my certain test. And if you can keep this on things like elites or bosses for a long period of time, you can actually start to dish out lots of freaking damage. Now, obviously, it cannot be used in a void form, which makes it very less effective, you know, with things like the tractor cannon, but still dishes out enough damage to be in the top 5 of the weapons, even with tractor cannon. Overall, this weapon is not very usable against random adds, so don't try to use them too much against adds. Paired up with an ad-killing weapon like the DFA, Better Devils, Midnight Coup. I realize I just listed off 3 hand cannons, but I love these weapons. Coming up at number 2, even though it has one of the lower DPSs on this entire list of 22, it's going to be the Mononon Legendary Scout Rifle. This is a 200 RPM scout rifle with explosive rounds, and amazing perks like lightweight. Now this makes it so very effective in PvE because with lightweight, you run faster, get to places faster. It can be used with a weapon that's not lightweight, so you don't have to use the Midnight Coup for its lightweight. You can just run fast with a Mononon, switch to your better devils. This weapon having explosive rounds means it's very effective at close range and far ranges, has incredible range with this explosive rounds. The stability is very controllable. The magazine size is at 15, making it very, very nice. Honestly, I consider this weapon to be my personal favorite and the king of PvE because it can be used in almost every single scenario, from raids to high-ranking nightfalls to escalation protocol. This weapon is effective and it is really good. If you don't believe me, watch anybody stream. Things like the first people to complete the SOS raid, they were all using Mononons. People like Dotto using Mononon. I use Mononon. My French team, who gets like top 10 in the world all the time, are all using Mononons. And if you wanted to get yourself one of these beauties, you have to get it from the gunsmith. Now this makes it a little more difficult because if you ever tried to get the Adiope D, you're gonna find yourself a little bit short because it takes forever to get the drop that you want. But if you're going for the Adiope, try to go for this one as well. Now I know I just said Adiope kind of weird, and that's because I looked it up. Wonder Woman has a character in it, an Amazonian, played by Claire Underwood in the most recent film. Her name was pronounced Adiope, and I'm very confused because there's other pronunciations that have it Antiope, the goddess, and I'm so very confused. Which one's correct, Adiope or Antiope? And I pronounced it before Antiope. Anyways, let's go move over to the #1 weapon in PvE. I actually found this a bit surprising, but at the #1 DPS, and still very usable and very nice to use, the Positive Outlook Legendary Auto Rifle. Now this is the Vanguard Auto Rifle that we got in the Curse of Osiris DLC. If you want to go get one, it should be in the Vanguard pool. If not, I think in the Curse of Osiris campaign, you have a chance of getting it. It's like a choice of 3 weapons, just grab that when it compared to the other things. What makes this weapon so very nice is it's very controllable, very similar archetype as the Uriel's Gift with 33 in a magazine, 450 RPM, quicker reload at 1.9. And then finally it has a good base damage and it has kill clips. So you get some kills, reload, start killing all the mobs. Now obviously Rampage is more of a PvE perk, but kill clip is still very effective at doing an incredible amount of damage. To be completely honest, it kind of blew everybody else out of the water. It had a significant amount of damage over its competition in 2nd and 3rd place, and that's the Cold Heart and Inaugural Dress. And to top it all off, it can be turned into Void and used with the Tractor Cannon. Now keeping in mind, obviously, it's not a boss killing weapon because it's kill clip based, and you know the kill clip is averaged into its regular damage. Put this in perspective, the Uriel's Gift does about 86 damage headshots without kill clip, without anything. The Positive Outlook without any kill clip does 132. With kill clip it does 186. So that averaged out together will give you a nice fresh 159, but obviously it's not perfectly average, but it just kind of gives it a little bit of heft to it. Overall, Positive Outlook, just way better than the Uriel's Gift when it comes to PvE. And that's pretty much it. There's really not much more to say about it. These weapons are all very, very good. At this point, I'm going to be mentioning some honorable mentions that I thought were still some great weapons to take a look at, as well as I'm going to be showing you my entire list of 22 weapons that I was able to test here. I could not test the Kibu because I couldn't get it. I spent 500 Mars tokens trying to get it, and I could not get it. But, Kibu probably wouldn't have gotten very high anyways, because auto rifles are kind of tanking when it comes to DPS. Except for the Positive Outlook. I don't know why it did so much damage. Anyways, first up on the honorable mentions, Polaris Lance. One of the higher DPS weapons as a scout rifle means that it packs an absolute punch. Not only that, it could fire forever with that perk that makes it so if you keep landing perfect shots, you keep getting ammo back in the magazine. To get this weapon, you have to do that exotic quest for it called Nascent Dawn. Just look it up on the internet. It's all fully out now. You don't have to wait week after week anymore. And I'd highly recommend you get it. It's a very nice weapon. Next honorable mention, the Annual Skate Hand Cannon. Very, very nice. 140 RPM, 10 in a cylinder. Similar to the Better Devils, except for no explosive rounds. But it does have things like Outlaw, making it very fun to use on a lot of ad killing. Next up on our honorable mention, Darkest Before. 540 Pulse Rifle makes it an absolute chainsaw at killing all the enemies in front of you at very close range. This is the Trials Pulse Rifle, so you have to get it from Trials. I think you can still get it from Trials, but don't quote me on that. And the last little bit of honorable mention, Last Hope, Wrist Runner, both got very high DPSs, However, they're still very difficult to use and somewhat situational that make them less usable than the average. But I highly recommend take a look at Last Hope and Wrist Runner. They do incredible amounts of damage if you're at the correct range. And that's it. There's a ton of weapons that I do not have, that I could not test. Ton of weapons that I thought were not good enough even to consider. Some weapons like the Pleiades I found to be very, very good. It has things like Rampage on it, but it is a 200 RPM scout rifle, which means scout rifles are going to be near the bottom. I just thought that it wasn't worth my time to figure out where I put that thing. But overall, there are a lot of weapons that are very good at the game. Let me know in the comments down below if there's some weapon that you think should be on this list that I should test. I can retroactively test some weapons if I have them. Of course, the top pinned comment at the top of the comments will be my comment with updated Excel spreadsheet images of the weapons that I do test. If some people are all saying like, hey, what about this weapon? You know, Crimson, you know, like in the last video, or DFA. I'll try to leave that information at the top pinned comment, so make sure you take a look at that just before, you know, you angry comment. And that's it. There's really not much more to say about it. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hope you guys did find some information useful. Hopefully I didn't rant too much, and hopefully I said hopefully enough times that you'll hopefully like the hopeful video. And of course, subscribe for more top 5s in the future. My name's Midnight Chronic. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.